It's time for the Splash Live from Civic Center TV, featuring stories from and about people like you in the greater West Bloomfield area. Simulcast on cable, 89.3 Lakes FM, social media, and the web. Now live from Green Media Center on Walnut Lake Road, it's the Splash Live.
Live, local, social, it's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. I'm your host for today, Tyler Keefe, thanking you for joining us, and as always, encouraging you to follow along on our website on civiccentertv.com, on Facebook at Civic Center TV 15, and on YouTube X and on Instagram at Civic Center TV as well. Our top story today is the changing of the guard in West Bloomfield for their local police department. On Friday was the final day at the helm for West Bloomfield Police Chief Michael Patton after nearly 15 years serving as Chief of Police and nearly 40 years working for the West Bloomfield Police Department. He exited on Friday, and a new police chief and deputy chief were also sworn in. But before the new era begins with Chief Dale Young and Deputy Chief Scott Mong, plenty of people got together at Shenandoah Country Club on Friday night to reflect on Chief Patton's impact on the local area and on, of course, our West Bloomfield Police Department. Leaders from across greater West Bloomfield and around the state spoke about the chief's reputation, both as a leader, but also as someone with a lasting reputation for his heart toward greater West Bloomfield.
When I think about Chief Patton, two words come to mind immediately, and the first one is respect. And within our organization, Chief Patton, or Mike, has huge respect. If I could deny him his retirement, I would.
You have a witty sense of humor and a sharp mind, but most importantly, you have an incredibly big heart. While I will not share our private conversations with everyone tonight, I want everyone to know that Mike Patton truly loves our community, and he loves those who he has led over his career as police chief.
You've led by example. We know you've always chosen the path of righteousness, and you've made our department a model for other municipalities.
He's one of those people that I've always been able to bounce ideas off of. If we needed something done, Mike is one of those people that we could call.
A lot of times you can't tell what's real and what's not in terms of the threats, but you always know that you're going to be okay because of someone like Chief Patton. And when the announcement came that his well-deserved, yes, Louise, well-deserved retirement was coming, we just thought, oh no, now what? Because there was always someone who was on the other side of the phone, who was communicating with us, who had a plan, and who just made you feel good.
In addition, people from across Chief Patton's career in West Bloomfield and beyond spoke about him not only as a leader within the police department, but also as a staunch community advocate out in greater West Bloomfield beyond his day-to-day job as Chief of Police.
He often said that being a police officer is the greatest job in the world, and he would have done it for free. I don't doubt that for a second.
We have a tremendous community here. I mean, what we do for you, but we could not do it without you. And I think that's very important. I think we've earned very strong community support here in West Bloomfield. And I think that's important. Not all communities have that. You know, we also have, there is a strong relationship with the fire department. Not all communities have that either, do we, Chief? He's not paying attention anymore. But we enjoy good support here. We provide great service, but we would not be able to do what we do without the support of the community here. After almost 40 years of service here, I've been honored to be in service here to all of you.
And lastly, also a special message from U.S. Representative Haley Stevens, who showed up near the end of the celebration for the chief with a very special message for this community leader from our U.S. government.
On behalf of Congresswoman Haley Stevens and the 119th Congress of the United States, we recognize West Bloomfield Police Chief Michael Patton. Chief Patton has served the community of West Bloomfield, and he began his time with West Bloomfield serving as a patrol officer. From there, he served as detective, sergeant, lieutenant, and of course, police chief. And he's been an active member of the community, working with organizations from the Optimist Club to United We Walk, the West Bloomfield Diversity Task Force, of course, our great friends from the Chaldean Chamber and the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. So, sir, I would not miss this event. You really are best in business, and I like to say that, yes, there's a lot of bragging points from Michigan right now, like our #1 seeded football team that go Lions, who we're not going to jinx, but we're going to brag about, but it's also people like you. And look, it's a lot to recruit people into police departments and into the profession, and you are part of that pathway to enabling the next generation and enabling someone like me to say, this is how it gets done and how it gets done so well. So congratulations, sir.
It was a beautiful night celebrating the long-lasting impact of Chief Patton with so many people from across the years that made this community special to him, but also made him special to this greater West Bloomfield community. Now, if you've had a chance to get to know the chief over the years, you would really know that the last thing he would want on his way out the door is this big celebration and this grand send-off. But even amongst our greatest leaders, sometimes, even in today's day and age, they can admit some of their flaws.
I had no idea that this was going on. I did ask. The one thing I wanted when I retired was not to have a party. I just wanted to leave quietly this Friday after they swore in Dale, and I would have been just fine. But this, I got to tell you, this is so much better than the cupcakes we normally have in the training room. So thank you very much. This is really great.
A lot more than cupcakes at Shenandoah Country Club on Friday night. Plenty of people from across the West Bloomfield Police Department, leadership from across our local area and around the state, and so many friends and family joining the chief for his grand send-off as he completes a storied career in greater West Bloomfield as the chief of police. In addition, on Friday, the changing of the guard official within the West Bloomfield Police Department as newly appointed Chief Dale Young, as well as newly appointed Deputy Chief Scott Mong, took their oaths of office at West Bloomfield Town Hall on Friday afternoon, officially beginning their tenures atop the leadership of the West Bloomfield Police Department. We had a chance to speak to some of our local leaders on the changing of this leadership in the West Bloomfield Police Department and the impact of these two new leaders that they will surely have on our community for years to come.
I have had the opportunity to work with Dale now for a while and see his ability and his responsibility and his commitment and dedication to the township, and I am confident that he's going to be a tremendous asset. As I said in there was a week when then Chief Patton went out of town and Dale Young was deputy chief, and he was really tested. It was a wild week in West Bloomfield, and he more than met the test. So I think that we made a great choice. I'm excited to work with him, and I'm proud that he's going to be the representative of the township. In many ways, the police chief the police and fire chief are the most visible people in the township, and I am proud to have Dale be the face that people see when they look at West Bloomfield Township.
Well, his competence and character cannot be questioned. He's really truly a good person, and I think that he'll serve the department and the township excellent.
Well, the very best wishes for him. The township board made a wise choice in picking him as the new chief of police. He's a lot of great energy, a lot of great ideas, well respected by the team members. So I think moving forward, the township and the police department will be in a really great place. Look, he's always met expectations and exceeded them. And most importantly, as the outgoing chief of police, he was always being the good angel on my shoulder, giving me good advice, making sure that I stayed out of trouble, and I'll always be grateful for that.
Obviously, we have had an amazing chief of police in Chief Michael Patton. It has been an absolute pleasure and honor to work with him all these years. And when he first started talking about retirement, I was concerned. I'm not going to lie. I was like, how will we ever have a chief that can be anywhere near as great as Chief Patton? But over the last several years, he would bring Dale Young along and be involved in a lot of important decisions and budget matters. And I started to see what Chief saw in Dale Young. And so as time went on and he was deputy chief and involved in a lot of our capital improvement programs and board meetings, I started to understand the depth of Dale Young, and our newly appointed Chief Dale Young will be a fantastic chief. I'm very confident in his abilities and his integrity, which is the utmost importance in a police chief.
Plenty more to come from this big change in Greater West Bloomfield. Newly appointed chiefs and deputy chiefs at the West Bloomfield Police Department. Dale Young beginning his first full week as Chief of Police, and Scott Mong beginning as the new deputy chief for the West Bloomfield Police Department. More information and updates on the West Bloomfield Police can be found on their Facebook page at West Bloomfield PD. Updates, more information, emergency info, everything you need to know. Facebook at West Bloomfield PD. Beginning his first week as the Chief of Police in Greater West Bloomfield for the West Bloomfield Police Department is Chief Dale Young, who joins us now as he begins a new era in the West Bloomfield Police Department. Chief, thank you so much for being with us today.
Good morning, Tyler. How are you?
Glad to have you on. Doing fantastic, and congratulations to you as well as to Scott and so many others being elevated in their leadership in the West Bloomfield Police Department. Now that the moment is here, now that you've taken over the gig, what is this like for you? Now that you're now officially in that capacity, taking over, filling those big shoes of Chief Patton.
Yes, it's been a whirlwind, but I am extremely fortunate that Chief Patton put together such a strong foundation and the leadership that we have here at the police department. And we're all trying to get ourselves settled right now into our new capacities, and we're ready to start moving forward.
So as you made that transition, Friday was the last day for Chief Patton. You were sworn in. Deputy Chief Mong was sworn in. So how do you get that start as the new police chief and start to bring your leadership style into the fold while maintaining the reputation that has been built over many years, many decades, even preceding Chief Patton in West Bloomfield's police department?
Yes, it's a tall order for sure, but that's where I start to rely on the team of officers that I have that work for the department. I feed off of their energy, they feed off of mine. And as we start to move forward, we're going to start hitting some of the goals that I'm going to set for them.
And it's a pretty big accomplishment, too, for you to be promoted to the chief of police from deputy chief. And it's a big moment, too, for the police department because it's an historic appointment. This is the first time that a chief of police has been elevated from within the department rather than being hired from outside. So speak to that element of your promotion now to the chief of police and what sort of sense of pride, accomplishment, or honor even beyond that brings to you.
Yes, actually, just one thing I wanted to point out to you is just that, so Chief Patton actually was the first one to be hired to police chief within the department. However, I would be the first cadet that has made it from that rank all the way through. But bottom line is that this is a fantastic community. I feel extremely fortunate and humbled to be able to lead the men and women of this police department. And as you pointed out, it has a very rich, strong tradition of strong leadership at the helm. So I don't take that lightly, and I look forward to continuing that pursuit of excellence.
Any leader of any organization, whether it's police or it's other public safety, it's government, or even in a business or sport, is always going to give so much of that credit to their team below them or working alongside them in the leadership. As we make this transition to a new police chief and a new deputy chief, speak to the other leadership, the sergeants, the lieutenants, the detectives, and so many others administratively across the department, and their strength of leadership as we also begin a new era for them.
Yes, in fact, I couldn't have said it better. The thing I would add, though, is just that within the department, within all the ranks in the department, there's a strong institutional knowledge base. Some people have been here for upwards of 30 years, and we're going to lean on that experience to make sure that we know where we've been so that we can know where we're going to go.
West Bloomfield Police Chief Dale Young is with us on the Splash Live, his first full week at the helm as the Chief of Police in West Bloomfield. More information on the West Bloomfield Police Department can be found on their Facebook page at West Bloomfield PD. In addition, you can see the full ceremony of Chief Young taking the oath of office as well as Deputy Chief Scott Mong as well on Civic Center TV and on demand on our website as well as on our YouTube page at Civic Center TV. Chief Young, before we let you go, any lasting message you'd like to give to the community as you begin your tenure as our new Chief of Police in West Bloomfield Township?
Yes, I just want the community to know that we are going to continue the same level of excellence in policing services that we were giving you. How we do that may change a little bit over time, but we know that the formula that Chief Patton put together is strong and viable. So if there are slight changes as we move forward, please understand that we know that we are not going to jeopardize your level of service.
Well, Chief, we appreciate your time and having you on. Before we let you go, you mentioned, kind of maintaining the momentum that Chief Patton had built over the years and with his advocacy, with the way that he communicated with the community. As you begin this term, what is one thing that you're hoping that you can take away from the mentorship that Chief Patton provided you and continue that reputation during your tenure as our police chief?
That'd be community engagement. He was very, very big on community engagement and making himself accessible. And I believe that through those relationships really helped us, in addition to all the men and women that also interact with the public, but certainly from the chief's position, his interaction and his engagement with the community is a great blueprint to follow.
That is for sure, and you saw that evident as so much celebration for Chief Patton on his way out, but plenty of congratulations and many happy people across the greater West Bloomfield area seeing Chief Dale Young taking the helm in West Bloomfield Township at the police department. Chief, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.
Glad to have you on. Chief Dale Young of the West Bloomfield Police Department, his first official interview with Civic Center TV as the Chief of Police for the West Bloomfield Police Department. Again, the full ceremony, you'll hear from Chief Young, you'll hear from Supervisor Warshay, so many other leaders. See the full oath of office being taken. That live program on our website as we speak, civiccentertv.com, and we'll be in regular rotation on our day-to-day broadcast schedule all throughout the week. Definitely encourage you to check that out, as you'll also perhaps be introduced to our new Deputy Chief of Police, Scott Mong, who joins us now as well on the Splash Live. Deputy Chief, congratulations, and thank you for being with us.
Thank you for having me. Good morning.
Yeah, happy to have you on as you begin your tenure as the Deputy Chief of Police. And we've had two consecutive really excellent Deputy Chiefs in Dale Young, now our Police Chief in West Bloomfield, and previously Kurt Lawson, who's now the Chief in Franklin and Bingham Farms. But you're no stranger to a leadership role in the West Bloomfield Police Department. So, Deputy Chief, as you begin this new role, what have maybe you learned from Deputy Chiefs Young and Lawson preceding you that you hope to immediately continue as you take the helm today?
Well, some of the things that I've learned from both of those gentlemen, the importance of integrity and honesty, and also being accessible and positive, just displaying the types of qualities that you want to have emulated through the ranks with the patrol officers and the other command officers, just the type of tone that needs to be set for accessibility and, like I mentioned, just communication, things like that foster a good work environment that is based upon trust.
And we hear it from our township trustees and our elected officials. We've heard it from other leaders in the police department over the years. The term community policing is something that really is one of the core definitions used by our local police department as being one of their core values. So when you think about community policing, what does that mean to you, and why is that such an important element of the day-to-day work of the West Bloomfield Police Department?
Right. So that is a very important type of program where grassroots level people are involved in and contributing ideas and feeling that they have an open line of communication with the police department in order to report crimes, in order to make suggestions on things that they'd like to see done differently, improvements made. We need to always be accessible in that regard and take all the criticisms and comments from community leaders and also citizens, that are in the subdivisions to heart, and making sure that we are attentive and listening to the desires and expectations of our community.
Deputy Chief Scott Mong is with us on the Splash Live, beginning his tenure as the Deputy Chief at the West Bloomfield Police Department. You can find more updates on the police department as well as emergency information all throughout the season and all throughout the year at West Bloomfield PD. Again, that is facebook.com/West Bloomfield PD. And a Deputy Chief, for those that have been around Chief Patton, those who have been around Dale Young over the last couple of years especially, they've gotten to know them really well, but maybe those that are seeing you come into this role haven't gotten to know you so well just yet. So as you begin your tenure as Deputy Chief, I want to talk about what drew you to law enforcement in the first place and why this is a job that you enjoy doing and a service you enjoy providing to the community.
So when I was a young person, when I was in college, I was working over in the Palace of Auburn Hills, which doesn't exist any longer, where the Pistons played their home games. And I met a person over there who was pursuing a degree in criminal justice, who intended to get hired in police work. And that guy had a dramatic effect on me. He was kind of a mentor of sorts, and it really got me interested. The more that I learned about police work and law enforcement, the more I was drawn to it. I felt that my personality and just characteristics that I had inherently would be a good fit. And so I pursued that line of work. I wanted to get into something where I was working with the public, which was I was doing over at the Palace. I was working in food service. I enjoyed working, serving the public and interacting. And so I thought that that could be a good fit for me in terms of giving back to the community and, like I say, some of my natural abilities. And I've been very fortunate and blessed. Feel like it's more than I ever anticipated becoming a deputy chief, and I'm very grateful.
So as you begin this tenure, as you begin this new journey within your career in law enforcement in West Bloomfield, what are some of the things you're hoping to get more involved in the coming weeks and months as you start off as our deputy police chief, or things you'd like to accomplish in the near future?
Some of the things that I would like to accomplish with our new chief, Dale Young, we really want to focus hard in the coming year, especially on getting our department fully staffed and recruiting and retention is very important to us. And we want to make that a priority and pursue it vehemently.
Well, we appreciate your time joining us today, and congratulations once again, Deputy Chief Scott Mong, with us on The Splash. Before we let you go, anything else that you'd like to say to the community as you begin this new era alongside our new police chief in Dale Young at the West Bloomfield Police Department?
Just like to say that it is my pleasure to serve in this capacity, and that I have an open door policy. I'm very accessible, so feel free to reach out, email or phone, and I'll be more than happy to get back with you and have a full discussion about whatever is on your mind.
Absolutely, that is for sure. Deputy Chief, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you very much for having me.
Appreciate it. Glad to speak with our new Deputy Police Chief for the West Bloomfield Police Department, Scott Mong. Again, more information on the new Chief and Deputy Chief and all the information you need to know from our West Bloomfield Police Department can always be found on their Facebook page at West Bloomfield PD, and of course, by continuing to tune in right here to the Splash Live. We'll take a break on the program. On the other side, we'll continue on with our local public safety, this time putting a focus on mental health. Live, local, social, it's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
We'll be right back with the Splash Live. Want to enjoy Civic Center TV on your social media? Find us on Instagram at Civic Center TV. Get notified when we upload one of our interviews, full episodes, and more. Thank you for watching and listening to Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. What people are watching in Orchard Lake, Civic Center TV, and 89.3 Lakes FM.
Hi, I'm Laura Nazuri, the Park Naturalist Supervisor for West Bloomfield Parks. Congratulations to you, Civic Center TV, for hitting 1 million views on YouTube. We really appreciate your partnership in spreading nature education in a creative way in our community. I'm Laura Nazuri, proud to be 1 in a million.
I don't know you're so sad? You've got a roof over your head.
You gotta stop with that depression stuff. That's what white people think. You all right?
It just feels like it's coming from everywhere.
Do you want to talk about it?
You can talk to me if you're feeling sad.
Whenever you need to talk, I'm here, okay?
And now, back to The Splash, live.
Live, local, social, it's The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. I'm your host for today, Tyler Kieft, thanking you for joining us and reminding you can always find more from Civic Center TV on our website on civiccentertv.com, and follow us for even more information and updates across our community on Facebook at Civic Center TV 15, as well as on X, Instagram, and of course subscribing for free to our YouTube channel at Civic Center TV. We'll put a focus now on our public safety as we continue to advocate for the great work being done across all sectors of our public safety, including the West Bloomfield Fire Department. Joining us for more information is our West Bloomfield Fire Chief, Greg Flynn. Thank you so much for being with us today, Chief.
Good morning, Tyler.
Happy to have you on to talk about a number of topics. Chief, among them right now, the biggest story arguably in the world is the tragedy that's going on the West Coast in California, specifically around Los Angeles and the Pacific Palisades with wildfires burning through tens of thousands of acres, hundreds of different wildfires. And so far as of now, the state of California reporting about 12,300 structures and more have been destroyed. We know that people from greater West Bloomfield, they may snowbird out in California. Many people from our community have since moved out to California, maybe people's kids. So as this emergency is ongoing and as there's a variety of different calls from local fire departments out in the vicinity of these fires, what's your message for people related to greater West Bloomfield that may be around those fires or related to those fires in terms of their need to heed the warnings being provided by their local departments?
This is a complex discussion, Tyler. You know, the wildland-urban interface, the WUI as it's referred to in the industry, is complex. You know, as people want to live and build into nature, it comes with inherent risks. And this is something that the fire service has discussed for decades and understand the potential and the risk, but you have to balance that within communities and where people want to live. So that is the challenge for government officials. To your point of your question, when the incident starts to unfold like this and warnings and evacuations are being posted, it's so important to follow those. There's methods, behind the plan that is being enacted by those local officials, those emergency managers. And while it may not always make sense to the resident, it may not always make sense to the person being asked to evacuate, there's purpose behind it. And it's best to follow through with those. And where we can all help is supporting those that are displaced. And so if that's providing a space here in Michigan for those to come to and find some peace while the devastation and the fires are brought under control, that's the part that we can play. And then following through with a reputable service organizations that are supporting those that are in greatest need in the impacted areas.
And we know here in greater West Bloomfield when a fire emergency occurs, especially when it's on maybe a bit of a larger scale for an individual community, we have the benefit of local partnerships such as the Oakway Collective that helps support one community to another. And we know that's also something that's been very much being mirrored in California with local fire departments, not only in surrounding areas from Los Angeles, but even other nations with firefighters coming in from Mexico and other nations, Canada and the like, to support these fires. When you have an emergency of any larger scale, but especially one of this scale, how important does that communication between departments beforehand and especially during, and then having that partnership to fight something that's this devastating, how important is that to those fire departments and those individual firefighters as well?
Those mutual aid agreements, as you highlighted perfectly there, Tyler, are essential to creating the best possible outcome. Having a conversation with a colleague yesterday, I found it when they ask, what are your thoughts on this? I don't know that many people can have well-informed thoughts on the scale of what is happening in California, about the interface, the terrain, the resource allocations that are so massive and needed in so many places simultaneously that anyone could have predicted, let alone planned for such a massive scaled response. But the best outcomes, which may not always align with what everybody wants, but what are achievable, are bringing in those resources, like you said, from other countries, from surrounding areas. Because at this, well into this incident now, you're into what are called operational periods. These firefighters, these emergency responders at all different levels aren't able to operate for 36, hours, 72 hours straight. So you are now into cycling resources through, you're into rest periods, again, food and water and all of the support that goes with those teams that are, on the front line is complex. And so there's a whole nother team of people that are coordinating those efforts. And a big part of that are those mutual aid agreements that you spoke of and pre-planning that.
And Chief, we know that you travel the nation speaking to other police chiefs and having these open dialogues, not just in Michigan, but across the U.S. as our public safety leaders look into these sorts of issues and look into other ways to advance firefighting and paramedic care and so much more for our local fire departments across the nation. Do you have any message for your friends and your colleagues out in California who are fighting these fires at this moment from their friends here in the West Bloomfield Fire Department?
Well, to know that we, and this is difficult because, the kind of cliche thing is that we're supportive and all that. And I think that goes without saying. I think that there is a camaraderie, a bond that goes across state lines for the job that first responders and fire and law enforcement and EMS, that we stand with empathy and understanding of the difficult job that they have before them. We would, I think, love to do more, but there are logistics and technicalities and strategies. These are fortunate things that while we have wildland fires here in Michigan, they are not to the scale that you have in a California. So we do send our support in the sense of the mission that they're trying to accomplish, but also with an understanding that there is a long road ahead. And really what they need are boots on the ground. And I believe that those things are coming, but those wins, Tyler, I don't think people can fully fathom how much wind plays a role in firefighting. And that applies here. You take a structure fire in West Bloomfield on lakefront where we have unobstructed wind coming across the water, and that firefight is drastically different than a fire in a subdivision that is heavily treed and the wind is not as much of a factor. So all of those things, they play a role, and California supplies many of those challenges based on terrain and climate and so on.
And we send our support also to those in California who are affected by these fires, certainly those first responders who are putting their lives on the line and are going above and beyond what is called of them in order to respond to this drastic emergency affecting one of the largest populated areas in the entire country. We continue to think of them, and we continue to be, as Chief Flynn said, so supportive of the work that they're doing, never really truly being able to understand just how much they are putting into that to sacrifice for the people of Los Angeles and the surrounding areas, and we thank them so much. Chief, we want to talk to you about mental health in the rank and file of the West Bloomfield Fire Department. You will be, and beyond, you'll be speaking soon at Michigan's largest suicide prevention forum alongside the organization Kevin Song. That will be happening in late January. Your presentation will be called Supporting Lives Worth Living in the First Responder Community. This is a topic that we know you are very much an advocate for, building mental health apparatus and systems within the rank and file of the fire department to support our firefighters. Give us a little bit of a preview about what you'll be presenting to Kevin Song later on this month.
The real foundation of understanding that the work that those in public safety do is worth doing. It's valuable work. It's work that we need talented individuals to recognize the benefits and the fulfillment that can come, the value, living into your values of service and caring for others, and public safety careers provide that. And then balancing that with your life is worth living, meaning even through some of the challenges that a career in public safety may have, that as a team, from administration to those that you're shoulder to shoulder with on an incident, that we all play a role in supporting one another and ensuring that they understand the value that they bring to the organization and that their life, while we're out saving the lives of the community, but we want you to know as a member of our team that your life too is important and worth living. So really starting this discussion that will create sustainable careers in public safety. There's so much of an emphasis, maybe at times, and we'll discuss this, we'll poke at this a little bit carefully and respectfully in the presentation, but maybe if we're putting too much focus on this smaller percentage of incidents that are extremely stressful, and maybe not focusing as much as we should on the vast majority of incidents where we are creating very positive outcomes. And these are very valuable incidents to highlight, because this is where people find in public safety a great sense of pride and accomplishment when so often things do go well and lives are saved. And so maybe just trying to exploring that maybe we have some imaging things to consider about highlighting so much of the good that comes out of a career in public safety.
And we know that this is a career that is so variable. Different things happen on one day versus another, 1 week versus another. You never know when something's going to come up that may be a little bit more intensive for our firefighters and our paramedics. So how important has it been for you as a leader to establish those systems of support within your fire department to be able to have the mental health care that is so necessary to, as you said, creating a department that is welcoming but also is going to help people want to continue with their careers and be supportive of their careers as a firefighter and paramedic or more?
Well, it definitely isn't one individual, and it's surely not the fire chief or the chief of any organization that is really dictating those outcomes. It would be much too, way too easy to simply say, write a memo, write a policy, and everybody will, their mental fitness will be much stronger. So understanding in an organization that the leader of the organization may be able to allocate resources, sign agreements with mental health professionals, create a peer support team, those things are important, as you said, a support system. But engagement with that support system takes an entire team. It takes your management team. It takes, in our example, our company officers within each engine house, understanding the people that they're in charge of and living into our values of making sure that every single firefighter, paramedic here at the WBFD knows that you're an important part of your team. We hire you to retire you. This isn't a temporary thing. We're investing in you throughout your career. So while we want you to be physically fit, and we want you to be financially sound, providing you a fair wage and benefits for the services that you provide to the community, we also need you to be emotionally fit so that while some of those difficult calls that we talked about earlier, Tyler, we don't want those to stack up. We want to find some resilience and be able to get back, as we stretch that rubber band and stress it out. We want that resiliency built in where we can get back to a less stressful work-life harmony that we'll discuss in the program. So I think that's the important part as an administrator, to know your place. These things aren't the boss's ideas. They're not the boss's initiatives. They're the collective, the organization. And that talks about culture and the shared values of an organization. And I think that's really going to be an important piece of the conversation on January 26th at the Kevin Song Conference.
Yeah, it's a system of support. You got to have that protocol in place that allows for people to not only be vulnerable enough to open up about what they may be feeling on the job, but also to have other people within within their firehouse or within the department or within the community that they can feel confident in speaking to about those issues and know that it's going to be at least addressed and at least you'll be shown some empathy and support. And so as we think about this within our own fire department, what have you seen since these policies have been put in place and these systems of support have been up and running? How has it improved the quality of work, but also more importantly, the quality of life of our firefighters and paramedics in West Bloomfield?
Well, I think that question probably is more appropriate for the firefighters. And I would like to think that through the experience that we've had, and I can briefly share one, kind of general story of a firefighter that came in and actually had put a document on my desk saying that he's resigning from the fire department. And he went on to explain how he's been engaged with the employee assistance program and talking with a mental health professional. And that he comes to arrived at the conclusion that, well, it was best for him and his spouse, his wife and family to be that they needed to relocate. And he was grateful for the resources that West Bloomfield Township had offered him, and not leaving because he's upset, but leaving because it was a decision that was best for his life plan and the life plan of him and his wife and building a family. And I think those examples, as we look at everything not having to be trauma, but we get upstream interventions where we're creating these emotionally fit individuals that are resilient and start bringing true meaning to these words that we talk so much about. But I would argue, Tyler, that many people really don't understand because we use them in this buzzword kind of fashion. But when we understand resilience and strength and fitness, as it relates to emotional wellness, I think it brings confidence. And it brings a confidence to say, hey, Tyler, I have a great mental health professional I'd like to share with you, just like a great cardiologist or a great physical therapist, in normalizing that conversation. I think when we start hearing those conversations, Tyler, we know that we've moved a very heavy rock forward and we're positioning it better that will not just save lives, but improve the quality of so many lives and people that are just really not right where they want to be because of some of these, mental fitness, emotional wellness issues that I think we can resolve. And they're worth it. They're worth putting the effort into resolving. But it takes more than one person. It's not just one person in an organization. It takes the organization to move that forward.
We're joined by West Bloomfield Fire Chief Greg Flynn on today's edition of the Splash Live. He'll be speaking at the 9th Annual Conference on Suicide with Kevin's Song, January 23rd through the 25th in Plymouth. More information on Kevin's Song and their work as an organization in the mental health space can be found on kevinssong.org. Chief, before we let you go, you've been able to implement these policies in the West Bloomfield Fire Department. They've clearly had a great impact on our firefighters and our paramedics. What suggestions maybe do you have for others in our community that may be needing to implement these policies in their business or in their day-to-day life?
There are areas, Tyler, that I think most business owners may think this is an area that's too personal and I need to respect the privacy that goes along with emotional health or emotional fitness type issues. And I would encourage them to have an open dialogue with their team. What does the team expect? So instead of assuming that you know what your employees want you to do, ask the question, do you want to have more discussions about this? Do you want to normalize the discussion about emotional health and wellness and discussion about suicide? Tyler, we know that it's the 10th or 11th leading cause of death in the United States, and it has been for decades. So to not talk about it, we can all rally behind the firefighters' stair climb and lung and heart health and give donations and raise money, and it's a very public event. But yet we struggle when it's the suicide walk prevention and finding the excitement about that. We have to get excited about emotional health and wellness fitness. And Kevin's Song is doing that. And I would encourage those. This isn't a public safety conference. This isn't just a teacher educator conference or a healthcare or a clinician conference. It's an everyone conference. And what's great about that is it brings all of these stakeholders together in one place in Plymouth and allows this network to become much tighter, a tighter fabric across our communities. And that will create a safer community and an emotionally supportive community. And that's really what we're all aiming for. And I appreciate, again, the conversation yet again on the splash that helps to normalize the conversations around emotional health and wellness.
That's what this is all about, expanding those systems of support within our local fire department, but even more importantly, across our community and across southeastern Michigan. Chief Flynn, thank you so much for your time once again.
You bet.
More information from the West Bloomfield Fire Department can be found on their Facebook page at WB Fire Department. The Kevin Song 9th Annual Conference is January 23rd through the 25th in Plymouth. More information on that can be found on their website at kevinsong.org. We'll take a break on the Splash Live. Plenty more coming up from across Greater West Bloomfield. Live, local, social. It's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
We'll be right back with the Splash Live. What people are watching in Sylvan Lake, Civic Center TV, and 89.3 Lakes FM.
Hi, I'm Chris Fry, Park Superintendent, West Bloomfield Parks. Congratulations, Civic Center TV, on 1 million views on YouTube. Thank you for all you do in the community, and thank you for having me on The Splash throughout the season to talk about activities out in the parks. Chris Fry, proud to be 1 in a million.
1 in 4 Michigan homes has high levels of radon, a naturally occurring radioactive gas known to cause lung cancer. It doesn't matter where you live or what type of home you have. You won't even know it's there unless you test. So don't wait. Testing is cheap and easy, and if there's a problem, it's simple to fix. Visit michigan.gov/radon to learn more.
We took action. Will you?
Find local municipal meetings at our program schedule on civiccentertv.com. Find when your meetings air live or when they're replaying on our Civic Center TV live stream. Find it all at civiccentertv.com and click schedule at the top of the screen. And now, back to the Splash Live.
Live, local, social, it's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. I'm Tyler Kieft, thanking you for joining us to explore all that's going on in West Bloomfield, Keego Harbor, Orchard Lake Village, and of course, Sylvan Lake all throughout your week. You can always keep up to date on the latest from throughout our community on civiccentertv.com. Not only the Splash Live, but local municipal meetings, some fun, exciting upcoming events like the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce installation of board officers. United We Walk will have our coverage of that on our website as well after that happens on Sunday this week. And we just had the oath of office for our new West Bloomfield Police Chief and Deputy Police Chief available on demand as we speak. CivicCenterTV.com. And of course, follow us across our social media, Facebook at Civic Center TV 15, as well as on X, Instagram, and of course on YouTube at Civic Center TV. You're looking for things to do across the Greater West Bloomfield community. Easier said than done during the winter season. It's not like the warmer months where you go outside and you go for a walk or you go for a run and you're pretty comfortable most of the time. You hit the pickleball courts and take on that brand new craze. Not every activity you do in the warmer months translates over to the winter season, but one does that may surprise you by taking it indoors. Jake Schaff has the story.
With the snow falling and the temperatures dropping, Michigan winter is here, and a lot of fun outdoor sports have had to take a back seat for the season, or in some cases have had to be relocated. And pickleball is no exception. Many indoor outlets and leagues have begun to pop up for one of America's favorite pastimes, and the Detroit Pickleball League has found a great home here at the Sports Club of West Bloomfield. The environment may be different, but as the players will tell you themselves, it's the same old ball game.
So this is the second year of the Detroit Pickleball League. I was part of the inaugural season last year, and it was an absolute blast. So I'm back here doing it again. And anytime I get a chance to play, whether it be a league or for fun, I'm all about it whenever my schedule allows.
I think it's fantastic. I play pickleball sometimes twice a day, but every day. And there's not a pickleball court that I haven't played on. I go everywhere, so I love it.
What would you say are some of the biggest differences from playing it outdoors as opposed to playing indoors as you are right now?
Oh, well, there's a lot of differences. First of all, outside you have to deal with the wind. That's the biggest thing. But once you get used to playing in the wind, it's kind of fun. Obviously, with inside, you've got deals with room, if you can get around, if you can serve comfortably. Sometimes lighting is not great inside, but of course, you have good weather inside all the time, so you can play anytime.
I like it because you don't have to worry about the sun in your eyes, don't have to worry about putting sunblock on and all that good stuff. Or if it's raining, sometimes I've had so many plans ruined because of the rain when I play outdoors. So I really like indoors a lot. It does take a lot of adjusting if you're playing on a gym floor surface, on the other hand, because there are some places that the only option is gym floor surface, and that is a big adjustment because the floor is so different than the dedicated pickleball surface or like a tennis court surface.
We play until we're told we can't play outside. The nets are taken down and we have to find a place indoors, whether it be here at Sports Club or somewhere else down the road at Pickle Rage or Farmington Hills or in the east side over at Bass Pickleball Club. So we find our way to indoors. We embrace it, whether it's be at the YMCA or community center. We're here in Michigan. We'll play wherever.
How great is it to have seen this sport's impact on a community like West Bloomfield?
Oh, it's amazing. I mean, we have more courts coming outside every year. You see different municipalities offering more courts because that's what we want. Sometimes it takes numbers to get those courts for us to enjoy. But whether it's outside or indoors, I think that more facilities are offering those programming opportunities for people to play, whether it be drop-in on weekends or ladder leagues during the week or weekends. It's just a fun sport.
Yeah, I think the pickleball community in West Bloomfield has been great. I've played here for several years before I even did the Detroit Pickleball League. And there's more facilities popping up. There's another place called Pickle Rage that just opened up, which is brand new. That's a great new indoor place with dedicated pickleball courts, and I love to see it. The more courts, the better, so I love it.
Well, Jake, we appreciate that report, and great to hear from so many people taking pickleball indoors this time of the year. Great facilities all throughout Greater West Bloomfield. You think about the sports club where Jake went out to for that particular story. Pickle Rage, also another place. West Bloomfield really is becoming the home for pickleball indoors and outdoors all throughout the year in the Oakland County area. So a proud way for us to get involved in the pickleball craze right here, close to home. Also close to home this time of the year, snow, and we've seen a lot of it lately. I don't know about you, but driving into Civic Center TV today, not the most fun experience. Driving out of here on Friday last week, not the most fun experience. So maybe if you have to go out today or you have some things to get done, you may not want to go out and drive yourself. But there are plenty of resources that are available through Oakland County, including the Western Oakland Transportation Authority, or WOTA, who has recently expanded their service to 7 days a week. Joining us now from the Western Oakland Transportation Authority for more information is Kim Viner. Kim, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you. Appreciate being here.
Yeah, glad to have you on to talk about this because it's a massive expansion of the Western Oakland Transportation Authority, now available 7 days a week. So take us through that decision to expand this to be every single day of the week that people across our county, and particularly in this coverage area in Western Oakland County, can get access to this transportation.
Well, as you and I both know, our lives don't end just because transportation isn't there. So we originally were running Monday through Friday, and we expanded those hours in the beginning of 2023 to expand to 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. Monday through Friday. Later on in the year, we expanded into Saturdays for several of our communities. By the beginning of 2024, we were in all of our communities for Saturday travel from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. And we started a pilot program in a couple of our communities on Sundays to see what kind of turnout we would have. And we've had great turnout, and a lot of our other communities have been asking that we expand into them. So starting 2025, we have expanded into Sunday hours. We are open 7:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. We've been taking a lot of people to church, lunches afterwards. We have some workers. Even medical testing can be done on some Sundays at a lot of places. So we provide this service to 12 communities, which are Highland, White Lake, Waterford, Rose, Holly Township, Holly Village, Groveland, Walled Lake, Sylvan Lake, Orchard Lake, Lake Angeles, and Kego Harbor.
Yeah, and so that's 3 of the 4 communities that make up Greater West Bloomfield as it is, but that's a massive part also, those 12 others, you're talking about 12 in total that this covers. So who is this service available to in particular?
Well, that's another thing that we opened up this past year, or in 2024, is prior to we were mostly open to elderly and disabled, low income, and veterans, but we are now open to anyone 18 and up. It doesn't matter what your status is, if you have a disability or not, if you're a veteran, as long as you're 18 and up and you live in one of those communities, we are providing transportation. Our transportation is $2 each stop. We pick you up at your home, either door to door or curb to curb, depending on if we can access up your driveway or not. And then we take you to the door of wherever you're going to as well.
7 days a week for anybody 18 years of age and up. More information can be found on ridewota.org. That's ride, WOTA.org, the Western Oakland Transportation Authority, serving here in Greater West Bloomfield, Orchard Lake, Sylvan Lake, and Kego Harbor, our beloved Tri-Cities. Kim Woda is the director of the Western Oakland Transportation Authority and joins us today on the Splash Live as they are now expanding to 7 days a week of service. So let's go through a little bit of how this works. Somebody 18 years or up, they're a resident of one of the qualifying communities for this service. How do they ultimately get that ride to their front door and from A to Z, wherever they're going across our community?
So they need to call at least 2 days in advance. We are working on getting more vehicles on the road. We have to hire more drivers in order to get those vehicles on the road. So we are limited as to how many people we can take. But currently we're transporting about 400 people a day. So it's quite a large number, considering that in 2020, we were transporting maybe 100 people a day. And then, of course, when the pandemic hit, we dropped down there, but we've since caught back up. The expansion is mostly due to the millage that everyone is paying in Oakland County. So this is to let you know that your tax dollars are not going to waste. They are coming back. They're being utilized by WOTA. We hire drivers that are local. So we're putting money back into the economy that way. We sponsor different sort of senior and community events. Of course, we've been buying vehicles so that we can hire more people to put more vehicles on the road. Last year alone, we brought about 85% of all the tax dollars that our communities paid in back into our community. So it's made a major difference for us and also for the people out there. Last year, we also ended the year with 79,685 rides, which is up from the 50,000 from 2023.
And we know, Kim, that transportation is something that's vital to the community because for those that are able to drive, and we live in a vehicle-centric society here in the United States, for those that are able to drive, they may take it for granted that they can get to from A to Z so easily from point A to point B. But for those that don't have their own personal vehicle, this is getting them to, like you said, medical appointments, getting them to jobs, and especially we think about those that have disabilities, whether they're physical or they're cognitive or both or some variation. This is also really critical for them. So what is the accessibility like for your WOTA vehicles as they're picking people up that may have disabilities in our community?
So out of our 58 vehicles, 57 of them are ADA compliant. So they either have a ramp or they have a hydraulic lift that will get everybody into the vehicle. Some of our vehicles can accommodate up to 3 wheelchairs at the same time. So our dispatchers know when somebody registers and then calls in to schedule, we know that you have a disability need, and we will accommodate you as best we can with whatever resources we have.
Well, we appreciate your time, Kim. We're a little bit short on time now, coming up on the end of the program, but we'll put an extended interview with you on our website on civiccentertv.com. So if you want to hear more about the Western Oakland Transportation Authority, head on over to our on-demand page, civiccentertv.com, or our Facebook page at Civic Center TV. That is going to do it for today's edition of the program. We thank you for tuning in. Big thank you to our entire crew, Calvin Brown, Kevin McIntosh, and Jake Schaff for making things happen each and every day. Live, local, social, it's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.